Hello students, welcome to my e-learning class. Myself Professor R.S. Udpudi. In my previous video, I explained about royalty accounts, meaning of royalty, types of royalty, parties in the royalty accounts, and some of the important terms used in royalty account. In today's video, I am explaining the journal entries in the books of lessee. That is in the book of tenant, patentor or publisher. This person uses the asset of creator or owner in lieu of his benefit. We have three situations in royalty account to maintain the books of account. First situation, when minimum rent exceeds actual royalty. That means minimum rent actual royalty kinanu ಹೆಚ್ಚೈತಿ. Royalty generate ಆದದ್ದು 10,000 ಐತಿ. ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ರೆಂಟ್ 50,000 ಐತಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಆ ಹೊತ್ನ್ಯಾಗ ಜರ್ನಲ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ. In second situation, minimum rent equals actual royalty. That means if your minimum rent is 50,000, royalty is also 50,000. In third situation, actual royalty amount is more than minimum rent and which allows you to recoup the short working. ಮೂರನೇ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚೈತಿ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ರೆಂಟ್ಗಿನ. ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ 60,000 ಐತಿ, ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ರೆಂಟ್ 50,000 ಐತಿ. ಇದು ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ, ಇದು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ರೆಂಟ್. ಆ ಹೊತ್ನಾಗಿನ ಜರ್ನಲ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ. So, here is the first situation. In all the three cases, we enter three journal entries. One is when the royalty is due. And second is when you have made the payment to landlord. Third is closing entry, that is transfer of royalty to P&L account. Okay. So, in first case, when the minimum rent exceeds actual royalty amount. If your minimum rent is 50,000 and royalty amount is 30,000. The journal entry will be royalty when the royalty is due. Royalty account debit 30,000. Short working account debit. The difference of these two, that is 20,000. To landlord account, that is credit landlord account 50,000. It is the first entry. Narration will be being royalty and short working due. Second journal entry for making the payment to landlord. Landlord account debit. Whatever may be the royalty or benefit, you have to pay him the minimum rent. So, landlord account debit 50,000. Minimum rent ಎಷ್ಟೈತಿ ಅಷ್ಟ ಕೊಡೋದೈತಿ. To cash or bank account credit 50,000. So, narration being cash paid to landlord. Our closing entry. How much royalty you have earned should be debited to P&L account. Okay. So, Here the journal entry is profit and loss account debit 30,000 to royalty account 30,000. Being royalty transferred to P&L account. It is the first case. In second case, when minimum rent equals to actual royalty. That means minimum rent is 50,000. Royalty amount is also 50,000. At that time, the journal entry is when royalty is due. Royalty account debit 50,000 to landlord account 50,000, being royalty due to landlord. Next is entry for making the payment. Landlord account debit, how much you are paying? 50,000 to cash or bank account 50,000. So being cash paid to landlord. Closing entry for this situation at the year end, that is transferring the royalty to P&L account, debiting the royalty. P&L account debit 50,000, credit royalty account 50,000. So being royalty transferred to P&L account. Now the last situation, that is recouping the short working. First journal entry is when royalty is due. When royalty is due. Royalty account debit. Sorry, here we have to consider the royalty and minimum rent. Minimum rent is 50,000 as usual. If your royalty amount is 60,000, royalty amount is 60,000. That means 10,000 you can recoup here. Okay. Deficit has happened, so that deficit you are recovering here. Okay. Now the entry is royalty account debit. How much now? How much? Royalty is 60,000. So 60,000 to landlord. Being royalty due to landlord. Now entry for making the payment and making the short working recoup. Landlord account debit to cash or bank account to short working account. Okay. Short working 10,000 ಐತಿ, ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರಿ 50,000, ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಲಾರ್ಡರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಆಗಿ 60,000. You have recouped here. This 10,000 is recouped. So you have debited 60,000. Landlord account will be closed because you have credited 60,000 in previous journal entry. Okay. Now the closing entry at the year end and short working uncouped. P&L account debit. P&L account debit to royalty. How much was the royalty? 60,000. Recouped amount is 10,000. Actual deficit was 20,000 in the first year. So difference of 20,000 minus 10,000, 10,000 is transferred as loss to P&L account. Total of these two is 70,000. So being royalty and short working, that is loss, is transferred to P&L account. These are the journal entries in the books of lessee. Hope you like my video. Please like, share and subscribe my channel for further updates. Thank you.